Performing a discharge reconciliation. When it's time to discharge your patient, you'll be required to complete a discharge reconciliation. This can be done from the doctor view. We go to home medications, and just like we clicked here to do the admission reconciliation, we could also complete the discharge reconciliation from here as well. By performing a discharge reconciliation, we will be looking at all of the orders that are in the patient's chart, both documented home medications and inpatient medications, and we will be deciding what to do with these particular orders. The ipratropium and the St. John's wort are just documented as home medications in the chart. They do not appear on the MAR. So the first thing I need to do is decide what I want to do with these two documented home medications. If I want them to continue in the patient's chart as a documented home medication for future admissions, I will click in the column with the green arrow, and that will simply continue them in the patient's chart. My patient has advised me that they will no longer be taking St. John's wort at home, so it will no longer be a home medication, so I'll click in the stop column. If my patient had advised me that they also need a script for the ipratropium, I could click in this column here and it would create a discharge script. This column here performs two actions. Number one, it creates a discharge script, and number two, because they'll be taking that medication at home, it is also documented as a home medication. Next, I need to take a look at my home medications and my continued home medications and decide which ones I want to continue in the chart as a home medication and which ones I want to discontinue. I also need to take a look at the inpatient orders that are currently on the MAR and decide what do I want to do with those inpatient medications at the time of discharge. The diltiazem documented home medication was for one 60 milligram tablet 3 times a day. We have actually modified the dose that the patient takes, and they no longer take a 60 milligram tablet 3 times a day. Therefore, I don't want that to continue in the patient's chart as a documented home medication. You'll see here that we actually changed the patient's dose to 30 milligrams, so 0.5 tablets. That is what I want to continue as a documented home medication, so I could click in the column here. And you will be getting, in the training domain which I'm using now, you do get the therapeutic duplication alert, which does not appear in the live site. So by clicking on the 30 milligram inpatient order, it's now converting it to a documented home medication. However, I'd like to give my patient a script, so I'm going to click into the column with the pill bottle, and again I'm just going to override my duplication. They will not be occurring in the live environment. By clicking in the pill bottle, I'm now going to give the patient a script, which is also going to document it as a home medication. The metformin, I'd like to continue as a documented home medication. However, on discharge, I would like to cancel that order. And same with the salbutamol. I'd like to continue it as a documented home medication. However, on discharge, I would like that live order, which is currently sitting on the MAR as an inpatient medication, to be cancelled. With my orders down the bottom here, I've got my two IV medications. I do want to send my patient home on an antibiotic, however I don't want to send them home on an IV antibiotic. So I'm going to stop those two orders, but I'm going to add in an order for cefuroxime. I'm getting the decision support window because there is a potential that the cefuroxime could have an interaction with the patient's allergy. So I'm going to override that one, but of course you can also remove that identified order if need be. Now I need to complete the information down the bottom, which is mandatory, and it is yellow. And this is so that I can actually print out the script for my patient. I need to put in a dispense amount for the cefuroxime. If I click on the PBS tab, I can actually select the item from the list here. And the difference between these two in this particular example is one has 0 repeats and one has 1 repeat. When I go back to the details tab, it's now populated the dispense amount for me. I put in the indication and I need to select routing. You would click Find Printer and you would select the relevant printer that is connected to your device. However, I'm going to click Do Not Send. as I do not have access to a printer. Because I'm creating the 30 milligram diltiazem inpatient order into a discharge script, I also need to complete the information there. However, this time I've only got one mandatory field. That's because I just set the printer for the previous order, and the indication has pulled through because this was an inpatient medication. So all I need to do is fill out the dispense field, and I'll do that by clicking on PBS and selecting the item. And when I come back to my details tab, it fills in the dispense amount. We always leave this box here ticked, leave med history and complete finish later, because that's for the pharmacist. And we always reconcile and sign. By signing, that will now print out the scripts for the cefuroxime and the diltiazem. Now when you take a look at your home medications, you can actually identify the difference between one that has, say, been prescribed by your GP and just been documented as a home medication. We can see the type shows as documented for the ipratropium, and we can see the documented home medication scroll here. However, the diltiazem was prescribed here, so we can see that the icon here is different. And we can also see that down the bottom there under type, we can see that it was prescribed. So it wasn't documented, it was electronically prescribed at a digital facility.